fun game last night. Warriors in LA. LeBron and Steph, of course, putting on a show. LeBron finished with 42, 17, and 8. Lakers do win this one. Steph finished with 37 and 7. And don't look now, but the Lakers have won 10 of their last 12 games. Another little milestone for LeBron as he passes MJ as the oldest player to score 40 points in a game. I don't even know. To say he'd be rejuvenated now with the addition of Luka seems silly because he doesn't seem to have been unjuvenated. But here we are. Like, what else can he do now that we're adding Luka to the lineup, Chandler?
I will say, watching this dude play, it feels like he's got more energy. It feels like he has this extra boost. The dude had 42 and 17 and 8 last night. In 38 minutes, he's efficient. He's getting to the free throw line. He's taking care of the ball. He's diving all over the place. Like, this dude is playing like he's 25 years old. And I think he is getting a little bit of confidence, a little bit more energy, just knowing Luka is, I think, available tomorrow night to play. And if I'm Luka, I'm watching this dude.
He's got to wait till Monday, Chandler.
It's a bummer. But if I'm Luka, I'm sitting here watching this dude play that hard at that age, and this whole narrative about my conditioning and my body. I now have arguably the greatest athlete of all time, and the resources that he has right at my fingertips to do whatever that dude's doing at 40 because it works. But what a treat this game was. We had Steph going off. Steph took 23s last night, which I think is ridiculous. I think he went 6 of 20, but like, this was a hell of a game. And the Lakers, don't look now, the Lakers are rolling. They're building something here. They've added a lot of these defending wings. Jared Vanderbilt's back. Dorian Finney-Smith are these defending guys that can take on guarding the other team's best players. They have these playmakers now. Now they have a couple lob threats with Williams, and Jackson Hayes is kind of show that he can be productive. So the Lakers are on to something. And if LeBron James can stay healthy and he can play at the level that he's playing at, which I don't expect him to have 42 and 17 every single night, but he's going to give you 30 minutes and he's going to give you 20 and 10 and 8. The Lakers are for real, and they got a lot better at the trade deadline.
What do you think, Lou? Kind of nuts.
I have to agree with Chandler. You know, I think they still got some things to patch up when it comes to their bench scoring and get some consistency out of that bench. But other than that, from the starting five, I think you're going to get a lot of good basketball out of LeBron James and Luka after you see those two guys play. But just to speak about what LeBron was able to do last night, it looks like he's having fun. Like, he's at peace with everything. There's no more narratives. There's no more expectation levels. Like, even though we expect him to win, we expect him to compete for championships and all of those things, it's not a necessity anymore. I think at this point in his career, all of those accolades are cherries on top of everything that he's already been able to do. So you're seeing a guy that's at peace with where his career is, where his legacy is. That's going to put them in a position to be very successful in the near future, especially when Luka gets into this lineup.
Look, so everything's passed, right? We got all of our rosters. They're pretty much set in stone. Let's take a look. Where are you putting the Lakers as far as their chances on winning a title? And right now they are 6th, and they're at plus 1,900, Lou. Ooh, we like that one. That one's fun.
But they still got to get in line. They still got to get in line. Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. I still think the championship is Boston's to lose this year. I got Boston at the top. I got OKC right after that. And then I started getting into the Clevelands. I started getting into the New Yorks. I truly believe like the trophy is going to come back to the East this year. And it's going to go through Boston. It's going to go through Cleveland. It's going to go through New York, one of those three teams. And then out in the West, I like OKC to be a real contender. I still just have some doubts and some whereabouts about where Houston stands. I just don't know if they can go through 7-game series round after round after round and compete with some of these other teams the way that other teams are constructed right now. And then I start talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. Yet to see Luka and LeBron play together. We know what they can do individually. We know what they can do without each other. What's that going to look like when they get together? Both very ball-dominant guys. Let's see if that translates into a deep playoff run. But right now, the Lakers are rolling, playing good basketball. Kudos to them. Give them credit, but they got to get in line. I like those odds at 6. I'll put them about 6 in the pecking order right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lou, you have a good point. As good as Luka is and as good as I think he's going to fit, it takes time. Like, you saw how bad the Mavs were when they added Kyrie Irving to Luka, how slow it was to start to add Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Like this, I don't think it's just going to happen overnight. I do think they are smart enough and good enough to fit in and make it work. But that's a huge adjustment for a first-year coach, JJ Redick, also to kind of know how to put him in situations, how to make them successful, how to keep everybody happy. How is Austin Reeves going to be happy with where he goes from this kind of main playmaking guy to now he's always been the third option with AD, but now there's 3 ball handlers that are going to have the ball. Are you still going to let him rock and put him in pick and roll? How do you keep everyone happy? How do you put Luka in situations where he can be Luka and be the dominant top 3 player in the NBA? But I love what the Lakers did. I think it's going to work. When you look at the landscape of the Western Conference, I think it's obviously the Thunder's to lose, but I might trust the Lakers in a playoff series more than the Rockets. I might trust them more than the Grizzlies. I think the Mavs are still going to be there. They're going to be very competitive this year. The Nuggets aren't going anywhere in the Western Conference, but the Lakers, you have to look at the Lakers, I think, after those two, maybe even more so than Memphis and Houston. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Houston's kind of showing a little bit of youth lately. They've lost a few games there. Denver has not, though. They've sort of found a little bit of footing that they hadn't had at the beginning. So it's going to be
and Denver.
And yeah, Denver's still there, guys. Like, don't sleep.
And Denver.
The fact
absolutely
that we got a good show last. I mean, it's LeBron and Steph, and I don't know how many more of these we're gonna get. But when both those guys are in the building and they're both doing what they were doing, it's really like a Broadway show with 2 gigantic stars. Let's look ahead. Who's next? Like, we got a bunch of young superstars already out there. What's the next quote unquote rivalry or showdown that you're most looking forward to seeing, Chandler?
I mean, there's so much young talent when you look across with the Luka and the Devin Booker rivalry a little bit, Anthony Edwards, SGA. I want Wemby to find Wemby and Chet. Like, those are going to be 2 teams that win a lot of games, that they're going to be going back and forth. But I don't want to take this because I feel like the generation's changing, right? And I feel like we are still witnessing greatness with the Steph Currys, with the LeBron James. James Harden is an all-star again this year. You know how good of a resume he's had and how many great seasons he's had. He's an all-star now, still at 35 years old. So we're kind of like we're shifting, they're passing the torch to this next generation. But let's not take for granted all these guys that are still going, the Kevin Durant's of the world that are still absolutely hooping and going and playing at such a high level. So I'm excited for the future. I don't think I've ever seen this much young talent in the NBA, but man, sometimes we just got to sit back and embrace these 35-year-olds that are still doing it. Chris Paul is still doing it. Russell Westbrook is still doing it. Like, these guys are legends. They're Hall of Fame players, and I love to see them. And I want to make sure they get their flowers too, because they're still so productive in the NBA at the age they're at is so impressive to me.
And everybody gets along too much. Like, all these guys love each other. I want to see a little hate. I want to see it get a little chippy, man. I hadn't seen it yet, right? Like, last night I watched Anthony Edwards get into it with Dylan Brooks. That game was chippy. I like where that's being built. Minnesota and Houston, like, those personalities of those 2 teams look like that's brewing. But other than that, it's so many different guys that have individual talent. The league is in great shape moving forward with all of these young guys and where they are. And like Chandler just said, some of the OGs passing the torch. Like, there's still guys out there playing a lot of good basketball. As far as rivalries go, there got to be some chippiness. There got to be a little hate. There has to be a scenario where a team has something that I want. They got to have something I want, and I want to go out and take it. Right now, you don't really see that. Like, Boston has created this separation from everybody, like, where to the point where it's still just kind of friendly. I want to see it get nasty a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the mark, or maybe I'm missing something right now. But I don't know who the next great rivalry would be. But I really enjoy where the league is going and where it is at this point with so much talent.
Yeah, I say, let's live in the present. Enjoy what we have. We're going to miss it one day. Maybe, though, you did say, Chandler, I think you said Chet and Wemby perhaps might be the thing that's coming. And I